All right, my friends, it's T Mon, and Jason Blaha has kindly uploaded a new video for us to react to. The Gym Lifting Recruiting Fitness Slaves video called, I don't know what, mixing different rep ranges might cause more muscle growth. Okay, so Blah thinks that mixing different rep ranges might cause more muscle growth. Wow, it's incredible. This guy, I don't know, but whatever.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Law here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about rep ranges and muscle growth, because a lot of people, have ideas about this, and there was, for the long time, everyone believed the 8 to 12 rep range was the hypertrophy rep range, and that lower reps only built strength.
Wait a second. 8 to 12 rep range is the hypertrophy range? What do you mean by hypertrophy? You mean the pump range where you're pumping or getting inflammation and hypertrophying, or the damage range to damage muscle fibers? Which one is it exactly? It's the problem with Blaha. He never really explains that.
Way less muscle, and they're really high.
Throwing this word around hypertrophy it's meaningless. Everything is hypertrophy. I'm hypertrophying. Okay. I bumped my head on the wall. I hypertrophied. Whatever, man.
Built endurance and way less muscle, but in later years, we've come to realize all rep ranges are
Built more endurance, but not muscle growth. More endurance because of the rep range went from 8 to 12. That doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Okay. If your endurance means somebody that is consistently doing something, a lot of something, often, that's really like endurance, but okay.
Of stimulating actually really good muscle mass. It's just, of course, still debated in various nuance as far as how much fatigue and everything they create. But look, let's step back and let's just be objective and let's be honest about it. Okay? Because people get a lot of things wrong. Like you'll hear people who now say on the other extreme, well, they're all the same. They'll all produce identical muscle growth through the same pathways. Right? We do hear people say that, but that's probably not true either. Okay? It's probably not true.
Hey Ontario, play.
That's probably not true either. Okay? It's probably not true either. We could actually make the case that rep ranges may, and this is what a lot of scientists have said, who look into this are like, we don't have enough evidence to really support this, but it's a good, solid theory that the different rep ranges may have their own hypertrophic responses, meaning there may be.
Yeah, but rep ranges have their own hypertrophic response. You mean like inflammation, causing your muscles to hypertrophy through inflammation? Or through the sarcoplasm, through the pump? Which one is it, man? Which one? Because that's what he's really talking about right now. He says he's scientists, whatever, I don't know. Man, scientists will tell you that steroids do not build muscles. See what I mean? What builds muscles? Eccentric exercise builds muscle. Concentric exercise doesn't build muscle. So you're doing concentric exercise, you take steroids and continue in that behavior? What do you think you're getting there exactly?
Some slightly different pathways by which different rep ranges cause muscle.
See, this is a concentric exercise. There is no eccentric here. It looked like it when it was going down. There was some eccentric going down. But he didn't make it all the way down. That's the problem.
I mean, they all share some common ones, but they've also speculated that maybe heavy triples versus 10s versus 20 rep sets. Hey, so that's kind of what I'm comparing, right? Kind of that moderately high to really high versus.
Man, if he were to go down with those weights all the way ass to grass, he wouldn't make it back up to the top, man. He'd just sit at the bottom. That's about it. You want to know why? Because he's not strong. He's not strong. You understand me? If you're doing, I don't know, what he's he got here? 500 pounds? It looks like he's got 500 pounds on that bar. I guarantee if he was to go ass to grass instead of pushing his ass out like the majority of people doing squats. They pump their ass out. They go down and then just their ass is pushing out so that they pump their ass back up. But if he was to go down normally, straight down, ass to grass, he would not make it back up to the top because he's not strong enough to do it. Because he's never developed his muscles doing that eccentrically. He just does concentric exercises for force production in the opposite direction. Man, bro, I watch people online. There's a lot of people. There's a guy called Trenzilla. All his exercises are concentric. If you look at his video, he's crazy. They're all concentric. There's no eccentric in his exercises, and he's on steroids. He's just pump training. He doesn't realize it's not building anything there. He's just wasting his time. Pushing against gravity. He's just very pumped up. And Blaha, he says he's on steroids, whatever. He's not even pumped. Look at him, man. He's so flat, doing concentric exercises. It's just crazy.
Really low reps. All right, what a lot of them are speculating is that there may be some slight differences. So in other words...
Look, that's the reason why calisthenics guys have and gymnastics, calisthenics, they have very jacked bodies. Big arms, big shoulders, they're really strong. They're really built because they do a lot of eccentric work. They have to because the movements that they're doing require eccentric to get strong, to do those movements. I don't really know any of these bodybuilders that do concentric work that could do any calisthenics. See what I mean? They can't do it. Want to know why? Because they're too weak on the eccentric. Eccentric is more important to get stronger at eccentrics, physically stronger, than it is important to get strong at just doing concentric work. See what I mean?
There could be a little bit of extra muscle growth through a slightly different pathway that each one produces while sharing a lot of pathways. Okay, does that make sense? So in other words, if a person were to look at that theory and say, okay, if I wanted to get as big as possible, if I wanted to squeeze out every last drop of muscle that I could get, obviously you're talking natural.
Yeah, natural. Talking natural, yes. To squeeze out every ounce of muscle. What would I do? I would come in on the day to the gym and do my entire upper body. And I would just move everything as heavy as I could eccentrically for an overload. That's it. That's it. I initiate with concentric, but I never make it to the top because I'm moving weight that I can't move for a full concentric exercise. Therefore, I know that the eccentric will be heavy enough going down. That is the idea. I want it to be 2 times heavier going down than 2 times heavier than 2 times lighter going down. See what I mean? That's the difference.
Or whatever someone's taking, without increasing the amount they're taking, right? And whatever that happens to be, whether it's 0 or higher. How would they do it? Well, if that theory holds true, and it's not an unreasonable theory, let me be clear, I think it's a fairly reasonable theory. It's not proven, but it's reasonable. And it may be proven one day. All right, but if it's true, what does that mean? That means that, you should probably do multiple rep ranges. And I think what we need to look at there's no real negatives to that, right? In other words, doing a little bit of heavy work in the 1 to 3 rep range, as long as it's not excessive, is certainly not risky, okay? Now, should you be doing tons of volume there? Probably not. I'll be the first to say, even as a strength coach with a powerlifting background, no, I don't think you should be spending like 50% of your time in those rep ranges. You will get beat up. It will beat your joints up. Can you do a few sets here and there? Absolutely. And I think it's perfectly fine to do so. In fact, we could make the case that some of those lower reps, up to about 5, maybe 6, that lower rep range, again, may cause a little more myofibrillar muscle growth. And I've seen some good experts.
There's some of the rep ranges may cause some myofibrillar growth. Isn't that the idea? It wasn't really that the idea, and that only happens eccentrically. So what is Blah talking about, man? He's silly.
I've seen Lyle McDonald suggest that. I've seen Menno Hanselman suggest that. That they
What about Hanselman? What about Lyle McDonald? They're idiots. They're the worst on the internet.
think there is some data to support that idea. So that's maybe a little harder muscle density. In other words, if you do some training in those ranges, like
The
power,
data supports this, that eccentric exercises are what associated with myofibrillar growth, not concentric. Okay, dude?
and stuff do, like we do, you may get a little better muscle density. It's not an unreasonable
What? He's fantasizing. You may get some muscle density, not doing concentric work, that's for sure.
hypothesis.
Hypothesis.
Jackpot City is the home of
It's not an unreasonable hypothesis. And we've certainly
He's silly.
seen it. A lot of the bodybuilders who've lifted the heaviest in the past, oftentimes they do have a little bit denser and harder of a look when they cut down.
Yeah, because they went heavier and they did high repetition work. Unlike a power lifter, they do very low reps, heavy but low reps. Bodybuilders do heavy but high repetition. There's the difference. Think about it. Wow, man. And so they're still getting some eccentric work there, but the bodybuilders, they are on drugs for sure. They're lifting heavier. So they're getting some eccentric work that they wouldn't have normally gotten because naturally they probably wouldn't have gone that heavy. Get it? And so your body just adapts to whatever's coming on that's next. But eventually it taps out. They only get a little bit more because they're not focused on the eccentric part. They're focused mostly concentrically. They just got lucky getting the eccentric because they went heavier. And then the muscle wasn't accustomed to that eccentric weight coming down, going heavier. See what I mean? But it's like you're skating uphill. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Lean. So it's not unreasonable. So maybe there's something going on with those myofibrillar ratios, to sarcoplasmic.
Yeah, maybe there's something going on there with those myofibrillars to sarcoplasmic. Yeah, sarcoplasmic. That's what you're getting. That's what powerlifters get. That's what people get that do concentric work, bro. Okay.
Right? We also know it improves neural drive, and that neural drive is going to carry over to better muscle growth. We also know there have been
Neural drive. Yeah, if you're doing eccentric work, you're gonna get a lot of neural drive.
some studies that show that starting a workout with really, really heavy work, like above 90% or higher of your max, seems to cause some attenuation of the upper threshold muscle fibers, meaning they activate a little more efficiently on your higher rep sets shortly after. Okay, so it may produce its
Well, if it's eccentrically, they'll damage a lot more. The higher the repetition, they'll damage a lot more doing heavy eccentric work. But if you're doing heavy just concentric work, man, you're not gonna get a lot there. Like I said, there's a guy online. He's called Tranzilla. He's a crazy guy with crazy music. If you look at his workout, he just had a video now. I looked at it, popped up on the feed. I looked at his, he's at the beginning, he's doing lots of crazy stuff in the beginning, but his workout comes really late at the end of the video. It's all concentric work. It's just pump work concentrically. There isn't any eccentric work in his workouts. I could pop it up now in this video and show you, but I don't want to. If you want, you go take a look at it yourself. Like I said, it's a ridiculous workout, okay?
own additional growth there. It's not a bad idea. And at least we've seen that a little bit, some attenuation of that, right? We've seen some of that happen in the lab, and we've seen some of it in the world. Some people have noted that, hey, if I do a heavy, if my max deadlift or whatever's 500, I do 450, that my other hamstring and glute work is a little stronger.
Like I said, many people go to the gym to perform. They go to the gym and then they see other people lifting, and then they grab a heavy weight and they start doing these concentric lifts, like heavy concentric lifts. You know what I mean? Because they want to perform in front of the other slaves. They want to perform for them. Look at me, I can lift concentrically, really heavy, and these guys never develop their bodies. See what I mean? Because they don't do any eccentric work. They're so busy doing concentric shit. My whole routine is eccentric right now. It's mostly all eccentric work when I go in the gym. That's why I'm developed. I just keep getting better and better. Then all people start talking to me in the gym. A guy asking me how to do this, that. What are you doing? He goes, I go, eccentric work. I don't do any concentric. And he's like, how do you do it? How are you doing that? He's like, fuck, you look really built. Da 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 da. A few people already have been asking me some questions. Even this lady, she asked me something. I said to her, even if you can't go heavy, I told her, even if you can't go heavy in your exercise, when you do the concentric, do it rapidly, but allow the eccentric to go very slow down with a lighter weight. That's all, so you could get more eccentric work out of your exercise. Even if you can't go heavy eccentrically, I told her. See what I mean? You must go with gravity.
Right after. Maybe not a true grinding max, but that sort of heavier work. It's almost like a warm-up for the nervous system. Okay, so you may get a little bit better progression. You might get a little higher quality work sets. Okay? Same thing with some of the really high rep work. Right, doing some of those 20 rep sets. How about stuff like, especially things with a lot of tendons involved, like your low back reverse hypers. What about stuff like tricep press downs where those tendons can get inflamed? Okay, you see where we're going? There could be some active recovery benefits to some of that. Meaning, yeah, they can create a lot of, the really high reps will create a lot of fatigue, a lot of metabolic fatigue, and they can actually be grueling and hard to recover from if you're not careful. But what about some of that soft tissue benefit? What about some of that soft tissue benefit? There can be some of that there. So if your tendons and stuff helps get a little better blood flow to some of that connective tissue, helps with the recovery of it, you may get less sore.
Okay.
Well, if we're getting less sore, we're getting a little better active recovery, we can sometimes handle a little more training loads, okay?
Yeah, you could be a good lifting slave. You're not getting so sore. Okay. So you're not getting damaged. You're not getting any damage. I don't know what you're talking about. So you're not getting damaged. So you're not growing any muscles. So you can handle more load. So you can handle just going there exercising your muscles to death. Okay. That's good. Okay, yeah, sure. See, endurance exercise just wears your muscles out. Think about that. He talked about that now in this video. He said endurance. What is endurance? What do you know that endurance do? What do endurance marathon runners look like? Skinny, like flat. They have no muscle. They've lost the mass on their muscle.
All right, that's potentially beneficial. You know, again, because if we can handle and recover.
That's another reason why people in the gym complain. They go, I got stronger, but I'm actually losing. I've lost weight or I'm getting skinnier. Yeah, they're like, I'm getting smaller. Why did I get smaller? A lot of reasons, man. Going against gravity is going to make you small. Pushing weights concentrically. But then, you get people like Alpha Destiny. Yeah, but I saw these guys on steroids. They lifted a heavy weight. They got big. Yeah, but you're not on steroids. Get it? Get it, Alpha Destiny? Alex Leonidas? You're not on steroids. So you started lifting heavy weight too, like them, like the steroid guy. Guess what you discovered? You got smaller. You got smaller. Yeah, he got smaller doing that. Because he was lifting against gravity, going in the opposite direction. See what I mean? You have to go with gravity to get big naturally. And even steroid people, to build real muscle, they would have to go with gravity. You still have to do it naturally in the natural world. If you do it fakely, take steroids and just pump your muscles up, pretend that you have muscles doing concentric exercises, well, that ain't muscle. That's why they have to do these cycles all the time. They have to go on and off these cycles to maintain something that is artificial, called sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, a type of artificial muscle growth. Get it? That's why they look so big. You doing eccentric work, I don't know if you could ever get that big and like a bubble like these people on steroids, because it's mostly sarcoplasmic. Now, I'm not saying you can't add sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, right, to the eccentric work by eating fucking glycogen or whatever, fucking complex carbohydrates all day. You can do that. You can add that. But why would you want to have all that glycogen in there? See what I mean? Why? To look more intimidating to other people? Is that it? I don't know.
better training loads, we get less DOMs and different things, we're going to have higher quality
More training, less DOMs? DOMs associated with growth, bro. What are you talking about? Associated with damage.
workouts. We're going to get a little more muscle growth. And again, so when I'm talking about these things,
You're not going to get any muscle growth doing concentric work. Look at you.
are we saying night and day? Am I saying you probably can't get really, really, really big just doing 8 to 12? No, you can get crazy big. Okay, so I'm not saying that.
No, you will not get crazy big doing 8 to 12 concentric exercises like Trenzilla is. Get it? That's why he took steroids, because it didn't work naturally for anybody. Look, man, even the old school so-called fake bodybuilders and all that, they discovered, even Vince Guranda, your Vince Guranda, all these asshole fucking old school so-called gurus and shit, they don't even know what fucking built muscle. They continue in the same behavior, fucking concentric lifting, and then they discovered it doesn't build muscles. So they all went on steroids, even Vince Guronda and all the rest of these assholes. What's that guy that does that fucking machine all the time? I forget it. He's like 100 years old or something. Jack LaLanne. Now, I don't know Jack LaLanne. He looks small and weak to me, okay? Then he comes up with these stupid ideas. Look, I moved 1,000 pounds because I move one log at a time. Oh, okay. He's another bullshit guru because he did concentric exercise. He never got built. That's why, because it doesn't work. Concentric exercise does not build you. That's why he's small and weak.
What I'm saying is there can be, it's not that straightforward. There can be some benefits to your overall growth by working some of these different rep ranges. And a lot of people have just figured that out instinctively. They don't look at any science. A lot of people over the years have noted that. Even some super jacked, super strong guys are like, well, yeah, I do like to do some heavy benching, but they're like, I do a lot of pump work on the incline and dumbbells. And then they'll get to their tricep work and you're like, what are you doing? Like, man, I'm doing like sets of 30 to failure on the...
See? Concentric exercise works like this. You get stronger, you get smaller. See that? Now, eccentric exercise works like this. You get stronger, you get bigger. See the difference? When you get bigger, you get stronger in eccentric exercise. But the motto in concentric is this. You get stronger, you get smaller. Now they're going to try to tell you that you get stronger, you get bigger. No. Just because you got a strong doesn't mean you get a bigger. You got a smaller. That's what you got. Like Alpha Destiny, all the rest of them. They discovered that when they got a stronger, they got a smaller. A lot of people complain about that. A lot of power lifters complain. They go, I got stronger, but I never got a bigger. Yeah, you did get a bigger. You got a smaller. You're eating a lot of carbohydrates, artificial diets, eating crap all day, gaining weight only, but that doesn't mean you built muscle because that's not based on myofibular growth. So in eccentric exercise, what's it known for? Well, when you get bigger, you get stronger. Get it? You get bigger, you get stronger. You get bigger, you get stronger. Yeah.
The press downs. And I've seen guys who train like that who are big and massive and have monstrously big bench presses. So,
I saw these guys fat and they have these monstrous bench presses. The majority of people out there, these big fat people that are carrying like shitloads of fat on their body. Well, that's like wearing a weighted vest on your body, walking around all day. I told you before, if you go with gravity, you'll get big. So all that weight, that garbage weight, weighs down on your muscles and your bones. So something must give. It has to grow to fucking accommodate carrying all that crappy weight around. And so they go, I got fat and I got stronger. You didn't get stronger because you got fat. You got stronger because it weighed down on gravity, because gravity makes you stronger. Man, people have to be stupid not to understand. Gravity makes you stronger. So if you weigh your body down a lot more, it'll get stronger. See what I mean? Your muscles, your bones must expand. Well, if you go against gravity, you will shrink. You will get smaller.
You'll ask them why. Well, it just feels right. Like my body's just always responded to that, and so you have to look at that and go, that's really right, really anecdotal, but it does seem to work. And if they're getting results, and okay, you see people doing that in the real world, and they get pretty good results. There's some decent theories on that. There's some decent theories on that. And so I would say, look, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea if you're trying to get really big to incorporate a variety of rep ranges in your training instead of just fixating on one. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today.
Just incorporating, man. No brains at all. No low IQ. He says he has the high IQ. He has a high IQ. He has a very low IQ. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Don't you think about that? Like, subscribe, support the channel. See ya.